What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we have finally got to the full review. I'm actually going to be doing a review of the Atom and the Neutron together because they are so similar, but they do have some differences. We're going to talk about both of those. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over the TRM Neutron and TRM Atom. I was so excited to be able to get these in my hands and use them over this past week. If you'll notice at the top of your screen, I have what now I'm calling the channel knife. This is the Kaiser Sheepdog, which have the custom anodization from my great friend Big Bore Knife and Gear. We'll have his links down in the description. One more time, we're just going to look at this. I apologize again for the lighting. I'm still working on trying to get some lighting into my room. I moved my studio from my garage into my bedroom, and it's just one of those things. Until I get set up, I might sound a little bit different, and the lighting might be a little bit different. But anyway, back to these knives. Okay, the TRM Atom and the TRM Neutron. TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing, is a company out of Massachusetts, and it is an American-made company. Everything on these knives are made in America, which is great. That's a big selling point to me. I don't necessarily have to have a blade made in America because I do have other knives that were made in other places, but it is a big plus, and I think it is for a lot of my viewers. Really, this one is the baby brother. Well, I should say this is the big brother. This is the Neutron. The Neutron did come first in the lineup, and it won the 2018 Knife of the Year award from none only than the man himself, Nick Shabazz, and for good reason. Excuse me. And of course, you will notice difference between the unboxing and now this one is wearing some wooden scales from a very talented craftsman by the name of Match Anderson. I will also have his information down in the description. He makes custom scales for these knives, and as you can see, they are freaking gorgeous. Absolutely love it. This one is also wearing a different scale from the first time you saw it. It came with the blue G10 scales, and I did end up purchasing the, come on now camera, the ruby red micarta, which I'm a big fan of. I really like this micarta. I kind of wanted the green, but they didn't have any available, so I went with the red, and not disappointed at all. Really love these things. They feel great. But you can get these guys in a multitude of different scales. You got different color G10, different color micarta, carbon fiber, fluted carbon, or a kind of a contoured common fiber. They've got a ton. And then, of course, you have people like Match Anderson who also make other scales for it that just dress up the knives even more. You guys know that I'm a bigger knife guy, so the Atom does fit better in my hand, and so I did find myself carrying the TRM Atom a lot more than I did the Neutron. Now, the Neutron, you know, even though it's small, even with the ham hands, you can see I can still get a full grip. But as you can see, it's a pretty small knife, and we'll get some size comparisons here in a little bit. But let's go over, you know, the anatomy of these things. We got both of them have CPM 20 CV steel, which, as you guys know, if you watch my channel, is my favorite steel, especially on a production knife. These right here are production, but they run in batches, so you just can't go to your local knife store and pick them up. That's really the only bad thing about these. All titanium liners, titanium thumb studs. I think the screws themselves are stainless, but the back spacers on both of these knives are all titanium, so it makes these super lightweight. One of the biggest differences between these knives is the liners. As you can see on the Neutron here, it is a standard liner lock. Both of them have such great flipping action, but on the Atom, you'll notice these are nested liners. And I really like that a lot. A lot of other manufacturers are starting to do this, and I prefer nested liners. I think it just gives it a better look than having the liners out and about. It's not a deal breaker for me, but I just think it really looks great. Guys, if this thing is not focusing, I apologize. But the flipping action on both of these knives are great. I really prefer the Atom just because of its size. It fits in my hand a lot better than the Neutron. But holy moly, these things fire out silky smooth action. They are not false shutty. They are running on phosphor burn washers, which for a used EDC knife is awesome. I don't mind phosphor burns at all. Matter of fact, I think I prefer it to bearings, even though I have knives and bearings and that action can be silky smooth and drop shutty. As far as a knife that I carry for work or to do stuff day to day, I think I'd rather have phosphor bronze washers. Let's go ahead and get some specs on both of these guys. The overall length of the Atom is 8 3/16 of an inch. You've got a closed length of 4 11/16 of an inch. And then you have a 3.5 inch blade with 90 thousandths thick blade stock. Both of these do have that of the CPM 20 CV steel. You have overall length of the Neutron at 7 1/16 with a closed length of 4 inches. And the blade length is 3 inches. So you've got a little bit more blade on the Atom than you do on the Neutron. It really is just if they just took this knife and stretched it out just a little bit, that's what you have. And just a few little upgrades that I really enjoy, mainly being the nested liners, and then the other one being the pocket clip. This pocket clip does work well. It goes in and out of the pocket great. It doesn't sit super deep carry, but it sits deep enough. I think most people will enjoy this, but a lot of people do like the fact that the Atom comes in with a deep carry clip right out of the box. So, and it is a very functional clip. As you can see, the screws are, the screws are not recessed into the scales. A lot of people were complaining about that. It doesn't bother me a bit. This pocket clip has enough room there where that's not going to be a problem. And with the scales being so thin, I can see why they didn't do that. And that's another great thing about both of these knives. As you can tell, especially the Neutron, these are super thin scales. These knives carry so well in the pocket. With my big hands, you know, I kind of have to have a trade-off. I can have a thinner handle, but it's got to be, pretty beefy. This one has a decent size width of the handle, but it's thin. And because of that, it fits my hand very well. And I believe it'll fit a lot of people's hands very well. There is no hot spots on this thing, me gripping it as hard as I can. The pocket clip does fit right in that sweet spot of my hand where I don't feel it at all. I can get a really good grip. There is no jimping on either one of these knives as far as the top, which I do not mind at all. Jimping is one of those things where I can take it or leave it. If it's there, great. If it's not, it doesn't bother me. The main thing that these knives has brought to the table for me since I've been carrying them is they are super slicey blades. Both of them have only 90 thousandths thick stock with a full flat grind. Well, I guess you might call that a saber grind, but it's flat grind up until you've got a little bit of a flat portion there. And they cut so well. I really can't tell you how much. I was just looking for stuff to cut over this past week with these two knives, and they just glide through material. So if you're looking for a very, very well-built American-made knife, these I am really going to highly recommend. These are definitely knives that, especially the Atom, that is going to stay with me forever, I do believe. I don't think I'm going to be able to find another knife that I like as much as this for an EDC carry. One of the great things about them is they're very lightweight. You can compare this to, or these two knives, to something like the Bug Out. The Bug Out obviously is super duper lightweight, and that's what gives it. But this knife I can actually carry, and I did carry in some basketball shorts, and so it's light enough to not hinder in that aspect, and I think that's great. We will go ahead and get a weight on both of these so you can kind of see what these two things weigh. Man, I really wish I got better lighting. I promise you I'm getting there, buddy. I'm getting there. All right, man, I hope you can see that. Okay, so the Atom coming in at 2.9 to 5 ounces. So let's think about that again. This has got a 3.5-inch blade length, and it comes in at 2.95 ounces. So you guys who have that ratio, an ounce per inch, this goes under that. So everybody should love that weight. So very, very well done by TRM. I think it has excellent ratios, feels great in hand. I really, really love it. Now, you think that's lightweight. The TRM Neutron, 2.2 ounces. So I think the bug out was like right at 2 ounces, maybe just a little bit below that. Of course, the bug out does have a little bit more of the blade length, but it does. This one has the 20 CV steel, and if I had a choice between this and the bug out, I probably would choose this. Of course, this is a little bit more of an expensive knife than the bug out. It has different handle scales that you can change out. You can't really do that. Well, I guess you can do that with a bug out. They make other scales for them, but these are super simple. Another thing that we need to talk about, because these scales on both of these knives are super simple to change. All you have to do is take out these two screws, pop the scales off, and pop new ones on this side. That's it. You don't have to mess with a pivot. You don't have to do anything like that. The other side, same deal. You have to pocket clip the one screw, pop it off, screw it back on. I've already changed the scales out on both of these, and it works super great. It's kind of refreshing to have that. I mean, a lot of people like to dress up their knives. Most of the time I don't. I've got a couple of extra or aftermarket scales for my knives, and for the most part, they're pretty easy to disassemble and take all that off. But this just is a game changer as far as that is concerned. You can have a different scale for every day of the week. Their scales are also relatively inexpensive. You go anywhere, with any G10 color from like $35 all the way up to like $100 some odd for some of their carbon fiber and whatnot. The micarta, I think, was $35. So really, really not expensive at all to be able to dress these knives up. We are going to do a few little comparisons for these knives. I'm going to do the Spyderco Para 3 to kind of go along. You can see as far as the size of the Neutron, that's pretty doggone close. And then, of course, for the Atom, we're going to go ahead and put it up against the Paramilitary 2. So very similar on these two knives for our staples here, the Spydercos. You've got a little bit longer handle, but the main thing that I want you to take away from this is the thickness of the scales. This one is not as big of a difference, but these are thinner than the PM2 scales. And then a huge difference, if this is important to you, on the Neutron. The Neutron is definitely thinner on the Neutron versus the two Spydercos. So I love these two knives. Both of these Spydercos are great EDC carries. A couple of other great EDC carries to compare these two. You got the full-size Griptilian and the Spyderco Spidey Chef. All of these are great EDC carry knives that are very slicey and will do exactly what you need them to do whenever you pull them out of your pocket on a daily basis, unless you're doing like super duty heavy work, which these knives are not made for that. And then, of course, the other slim carry that I have for EDC is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. And the reason I bring this knife out, because this is an example of a knife that is almost too thin for my hands. This knife fits in a lot of people's hands very well, and I can get a full grip on this guy. However, it's kind of thin, and so my fingers kind of wrap up just a little bit too much on this thing versus the Atom, where I've got a thicker, a wider handle, and so it fits better in my hand like this. The Waypoint is a great EDC carry. All three of these have very similar action as far as being the glassy, smooth action where it comes down. They all three flip very, very well. You're looking, under $200 for these two knives, and then about $295 for this one. This one has super clean Van X steel, which is a great steel, but it's one of those exotic steels. The CPM 20 CV steel is absolutely my favorite. I really, for an EDC knife, everyday carry, I just don't think you can beat it. So all in all, I absolutely love them. these knives are very popular, and it really is for a reason. I've been having this knife on the mind ever since I first saw it, and which was probably December, so it's been a long time ago, and I've really wanted one, but it's one of those things when the COVID-19 hit, they shut down because of that, and you just couldn't get them. I got lucky. If you guys saw my unboxing, I ended up picking up this Neutron in a charity auction from my friend Slicey Dicey. Such a great guy. We did it for a good cause, Feeding America, so we could support them and help feed children in this country that are having hard times and their parents having hard times. So I really appreciate him for doing that. I think we did we raised some good money for that charity, and I was able to get this knife, and then Match Anderson so TRM sent the knife, Match Anderson sent these freaking sweet scales. And so it all worked out. We raised some money. This one, just so you guys know, this one is what's called a 2-dot. See if we can get this to focus. So you see those 2 dots there beside the TRM USA 20CV? So what that is they have a very, very strenuous quality control system to where their knives have to be at a certain look and feel for them to pass. So I emailed TRM and really was like, man, I really want to add them so bad. When are you guys going to get these out? And they said, hey, we have a 2-dot. I didn't know what that was. The wonderful people over there emailed me, explained to me what it was, and then sent me pictures. And the only reason this one is a 2-dot is a very small blemish on the blade, and you can barely see the thing. So I was like, sold, send it my way. Still has its warranty. Still is 100% functional. It was just the blemish on the blade, and they didn't want to sell it as a perfect model like all the rest of them sent out. So they sold me this one even at a discount, and I couldn't be happier. So all in all, 2 of the best EDC knives, in my opinion, to date on the channel. The ones that I've shown you before, I really love. Most of them are great EDC knives, and you would be happy to have any of them. But for some reason, there was just something about these. Almost every single one of the knives that I showed you off for size comparisons have thicker blade stock, but they all slice well. These are 90 thousandths thick, and they're just super slicers. Not to say that any other knife over here didn't slice good. They do. But there's something, the blade geometry and the thickness just makes these things, I mean, you just look at it and it is going to cut you. Matter of fact, they send you a little sticker before you take it out that says, caution, very sharp. And they ain't kidding, because they are. That's the great thing about I mean, a lot of them are hand-tuned, hand-assembled. I think even most of them are even hand-ground, hand-sharpened. So you really can't beat that. I love TRM as a company. They were so great to me when I contacted them. Very nice people. They have a good warranty. And guys, if you were looking to buy these knives, you can't really get them now. However, I need you to go to their Facebook, which is Tycoon. I can't remember the whole name. Anyway, if you just search Tycoon, that is their Facebook page. People post things there all the time. Sometimes people are wanting to trade and whatnot, and they've got an Atom or a Neutron. So if you're really looking to buy one of these or pick one of these up, definitely check out that Facebook page, because there's a lot of people on there. And of course, TRM, they're just great. They let you know when things are dropping, when they're going. So anyways, guys, this is about it for the review of these 2 wonderful, wonderful knives, and I really, really can't recommend them enough. Hopefully, they're going to start making more, and the quality is just going to continue to stay the same, because, you know, sometimes what happens whenever the quantity goes up, quality goes down. These guys seem pretty committed to not letting that happen, and I've only been able to handle these 2 knives, but both of these knives came in absolutely perfect. The Neutron came to me absolutely centered, but when I put these scales on, I didn't tune something right, so it's favoring the show side just a hair. So I think that's something that I can fix, no problem. So anyway, guys, if you have any questions on the knives, hit me up. Hit me up on Instagram. Leave a comment down below. We have a lot more to come. Big Bore Knife and Gear has already told me that he has sending me a box of knives for me to check out, and I am so excited. I really, really am. He kind of told me some of the things that are in there, but I have no idea what's all going to be in the box. And I am as giddy as a schoolgirl. He's an awesome dude, and he's turned out to be an awesome friend. And I can't wait to get that box, so stay tuned for that. If you like this kind of stuff, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And we will see you in the next one.